Hello my friends, I hope you're all doing well. I wanted to give a few updates regarding my plans for the channel in 2022 and beyond. I could have done this in a community post I guess, but aside from potentially typing out a whole dictionary, I also think that actually talking to you guys like this is a more real and effective way to get my thoughts out. You know, emotional prosody and all. So there's a couple of things to mention and I'll start with the main topic and then cover some additional stuff after that. If you've been following my Twitter or maybe some of my live streams, you may have caught on to the fact that I am very excited for From Software's upcoming title, Elden Ring. It's a game that, similar to Breath of the Wild, has been in development for quite a long time. In fact, it was first announced in 2019 at the same E3 as Breath of the Wild 2's reveal. And well, as you probably have guessed from the thumbnail alone, I'm planning to make content about Elden Ring. I think it's a game that fits the channel really well. I mean, it's an open world medieval fantasy game where you explore vast landscapes filled with ancient ruins, tons of challenging enemies and bosses, and dungeons hidden throughout the world waiting to be discovered. And from what we've been able to see so far, it's also packed to the brim with story and lore. To those of you who are only here for the Zelda content, I want to put your mind at ease by saying Zelda videos are not going anywhere. It is and always will be a main focus of this channel, and I still have plenty of ideas for future videos, including a follow-up to Life as a Bokoblin later this year. I'll make sure to balance it out so you're not just getting Elden Ring stuff for weeks upon end. Zelda is the foundation upon which Monster Maze was built, so disregarding that would be foolish. That being said, I have been looking for an opportunity to branch out just a little bit more. After all, Zelda games take a long time to make. It's why this series is so good. But that also means that sometimes there's a lot less to talk about, and I want to avoid reaching for subjects and forcing out content just to please the algorithm. Having something on the side can definitely help with that. If I have inspiration for a Zelda video, I will make one. If I don't, or if I feel like the idea needs more time to develop, I can focus on something else for a bit. Of course, I'm not expecting any of you to watch my Elden Ring content just for the sake of supporting me. Not everyone is going to be interested in it or has the means to play it, so that would be a very unrealistic expectation. But who knows, maybe my videos will sway some of you to give the game a try and join me in exploring this world and unraveling its story and mysteries. I have some more to say about Breath of the Wild 2 in particular, but I'll save that for the very end to avoid rambling too much and, get through the announcements first. Some of you may have noticed that my upload schedule hasn't been as consistent as it was, say, a year ago when I was cranking out at least one video every weekend like clockwork. I can assure you that it's not because I've gotten lazy or because I lost my motivation in any way. It's got more to do with the fact that I've come to value the quality of my productions above anything else. And I want to continue to improve my skills as an editor, animator, storyteller, etc. Even when I try to make something simple nowadays, I still end up going the extra mile regardless. I can't seem to switch it off. My latest video about the spider houses, for example, was supposed to be just a quick 10-minute video without too much effort put into it. Since I just got done making those Breath of the Wild 2 patent videos, I figured I should probably give myself a break. And well, lo and behold, it still ended up becoming a 20-minute video. The script kept on growing and growing, which also meant having to capture more and more footage. Not to mention that my capture card crashed halfway without me knowing. So about half of the footage came back as a black screen, so I had to recapture all of it, which ended up delaying the video. And by that point I was like, well, I might as well animate some cool looking title cards now too. I gotta have nice looking title cards. Making animations, no matter how simple, is and always will be one of my biggest passions. And I know myself well enough to know that I don't have the type of brain that can just keep doing the same thing over and over again. Eventually I will get sick of it if I do. Challenging myself as much as possible and trying out new things for every video will ensure that I'll continue to find enjoyment in making them for many years to come, even if that means I cannot produce videos as fast as I used to. That doesn't mean I'm going to keep you guys waiting for months in between videos and it's only going to get worse over time. I'm definitely planning to keep the content flowing at a reasonable pace. All I'm saying is, don't always expect a video every week. Sometimes you might have to wait 2, maybe even 3 weeks depending on the scale of the project I'm working on, which ties into the next subject. I've been wanting to try out a podcast type of format on the channel for a while now, and I think it's about time I get started on that. In the time spent as a creator, I've been able to get acquainted with a lot of amazing people, and I feel like it would be a lot of fun to sit down with them for an hour or so and just talk about stuff. This includes fellow Zelda theorists, other creators I admire or look up to, real-life friends, people in the gaming industry, anyone I can convince to share a bit of their time with me, really. Of course, oftentimes Zelda will be a big focus of the conversations, but I will definitely allow the subject matter to go into completely different directions too. It kinda depends on the type of guest I have on. If it's a speedrunner, it's gonna be more about speedrunning. If it's a modder or a voice actor, I'm definitely gonna want to pick their their brains on their speciality. Doing a podcast will also allow me to fill in potential gaps in between bigger projects, since they are much less labor intensive. I'm still working out the details on when exactly I want to kickstart the podcasts and what the upload schedule will be. It's probably not going to be a weekly thing because I don't want to run out of guests too quickly, and people are also busy, so it's nice if they have at least a 2-week notice. So I'm guessing probably once every 2 weeks, but we'll see how it turns out. Next is streaming. Not too long ago, I sorta made a deal with my audience that I would stream every week on the same day, Wednesday to be exact. And I managed to keep that consistent for barely 3 weeks until I already started to falter. I gotta stay true to myself, I'm just not that much of a streamer, at least not on a schedule. I enjoy doing the Nintendo Direct streams and those will definitely remain a tradition. And every once in a while, I do find it enjoyable to spontaneously kickstart a Zelda stream and just roll with it. But a weekly streaming schedule is just not gonna work for me. A lot of the time I'd rather work on a video, and having to stream on a set day often gets in the way. Not only that, but despite being a general optimist, I am very mood sensitive. I have this thing called panic anxiety disorder, and while it's not a huge issue in my life by any means, it does sometimes creep up on me at random, and when it does, I don't really want to interact with people and much prefer to just be on my own. So there you go, a little private detail about me. Again, not saying I won't do regular streams anymore altogether, but just treat it like the Spanish Inquisition. Don't expect it. All in all, I think we're in for a very good year. And aside from Elden Ring, I might even cover more franchises and subjects in the future. Xenoblade Chronicles 3 comes to mind. I'm very much invested in the story of the Xenoblade universe, so I'm definitely considering making videos about that too as we get closer to the release of that game. I want to emphasize that even though I'm branching out a bit more, that doesn't mean that my hype and interest for Breath of the Wild 2, or the series as a whole for that matter, is dwindling. Not even close. I know some of you are disappointed that Breath of the Wild 2 hasn't shown up again in the last few months, and I totally get that. First the Game Awards and now the February Direct, it was a bit of a double whammy. But as I stated before, good games take time. Not to mention we just had a global pandemic to deal with. If anything, the game's prolonged absence likely means that they are taking their time. And when Nintendo takes their time, it's bound to be really freaking good. I also think they want to avoid some of the mistakes they made with the development cycle of the original Breath of the Wild. As some of you may remember, they weren't exactly proficient with the promotion of that game, especially in the beginning. First it was going to be 2015, then 2016, then it ended up becoming a Switch title. It's clear that they were sort of winging it. I'm guessing they realized that not making too many promises is better than making promises you cannot keep. I mean, just look at how it ended up for Cyberpunk. A lot of promises and mechanics that never even made it in. I'm confident that when Nintendo is finally ready to go all out with the game's promotion, it'll be amazing and the release won't be too far off. Anyway, my voice is already starting to wear down, so that's enough rambling for one video. I thank you all for your time, your support, ideas, feedback, and all that good jazz. I hope you look forward to my upcoming videos. Bye bye.